and welcome to this week's news bulletin from the Christian Institute. A pro-family organisation has been labelled a domestic hate group during a training session for new soldiers. Troops at Camp Shelby in Mississippi were told that the American Family Association, which supports traditional marriage, should be classed alongside groups such as the Ku Klux Klan and neo-Nazis, and that support for such organisations which go against Army values may be punished. A chaplain at the briefing challenged the instructor, who refused to retract the claims. The American Family Association has previously been designated a hate group after appearing on a list of organisations compiled by extreme left-wing group, the Southern Poverty Law Centre. Last month, Floyd Lee Corkins II was given a 25-year prison sentence after he opened fire on another pro-family organisation, the Family Research Council, because it was also designated a hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Centre. The Pentagon has since said the information used in the briefing did not come from official sources and does not reflect Army policy. The AFA is considering suing the military for defamation of character. Liberalising drug laws and the introduction of heroin safe rooms are expected to be proposed as part of a Home Office drugs review being compiled by Lib Dem Minister Norman Baker. But the findings are likely to come into conflict with the Conservative Party's resistance to any change to the current legislation. Commenting to the Times newspaper, Norman Baker said, "We need to help individuals who have become dependent on drugs, recognising this as a health issue." And Nick Clegg has also been voicing his opinion on BBC Three's free speech programme. He said that Britain is losing the war on drugs.
I don't think we're winning the drugs war. I think we keep banging our head against the wall. I find it very frustrating that my Conservative coalition partners are not prepared to look more openly, imaginatively. You've got very senior police officers now coming out saying that the war of drugs is failing and that we should treat drug addiction as much as a health issue as a criminal justice one. All these kind of things we need to look at. I don't actually think that waving a magic wand and making everything legal is necessarily the right option.
The Home Office review, which was ordered by Mr Clegg, is due to be published before Christmas. Meanwhile, the mother of a young man whose suicide was triggered by smoking cannabis has said her son thought the drug was harmless. Melanie Lee's son Matthew had been addicted to cannabis for a number of years, but his mental health had deteriorated to such an extent that he was unable to continue his IT job due to delusions. Mrs Lee said, "Matthew was in so much distress it was preventing him from sleeping properly. His GP felt he was hallucinating due to his drug problem and referred Matthew to a consultant psychiatrist." His mum said she knows from medical notes that Matthew admitted he was smoking cannabis because he believed it was harmless. Mike Judge from the Christian Institute commented, "What this terrible tragedy illustrates is the real-life dangers and consequences drug taking can have on both individuals and families. Any relaxation of drug laws must be resisted, otherwise situations like Matthew's could become all too common." A 16-year-old boy has been allowed to wear girls' clothes and makeup at a school in Scotland despite his mother's opposition. Callum McLean, who is going by the name of Stacey, is being allowed to use a disabled toilet and get changed separately from other boys for PE at Calderside Academy in Lanarkshire. His mother, Thelma McLean, has told the school she is against her son's actions, saying, "I really believe this is a phase and I cannot accept it. I believe my feelings have not been respected when I said no. The school seems to be scared of getting into trouble if they take action." But the schoolboy said, "I sound like a girl and look like a girl, so why shouldn't I dress like a girl?" Des Dixon from South Lanarkshire Council said, "The school has a strong ethos of respecting pupils' rights and it is supporting this pupil and will continue to do so." With Margot MacDonald expected to introduce her assisted suicide bill to the Scottish Parliament in the coming months, there's fresh concerns that any acceptance of euthanasia could lead to healthy middle-aged people being encouraged to kill themselves. Writing in The Scotsman, columnist Laurie Anderson highlighted 2 cases of people in their 40s who were not terminally ill being euthanised in Belgium. She said, "My fear is that a society which opens the door to euthanasia can unwittingly put a gentle, well-meaning hand on the back of the suffering, the frightened, the distressed and depressed, and push them forward while whispering, 'Well, there is one option.'" 1 in 50 deaths in Belgium is now the result of euthanasia. Margot MacDonald's bill proposes patients as young as 16 in Scotland would be able to tell their GP about their desire for assisted suicide. Bioethics expert Dr. Callum McKellar is critical of the proposals, saying the concept of a life not worth living should never be accepted in a civilised society. Children are suffering because broken families are failing to properly teach about right and wrong, according to Ofsted's Chief Inspector. Sir Michael Wilshaw warned that society is making excuses for poor parenting and children are suffering as a result. Sir Michael noted that some people think social breakdown is the result of material poverty, but continued, "These children lack more than money. They lack parents who take responsibility for seeing them raised well. Children suffer because they are not given clear rules or boundaries, have few secure or safe attachments at home, and little understanding of the difference between right and wrong behaviour." Sir Michael made the comments as Ofsted launched its annual report on social care across England. And finally, a memorial to John Wesley has been unveiled to commemorate the anniversary of the preacher's first Welsh sermon. The bronze sculpture has been placed on the village green at Devauden, Monmouthshire, where in October 1739 he addressed an open-air crowd of around 400. John Wesley, who had been ordained by the Church of England, wanted reform within the Church. He encouraged Christians in personal holiness and emphasised devotion to Bible study and prayer, criticising the Church's elitist hierarchy. John Wesley, along with brothers Charles and George Whitfield, went on to found Methodism within the Church of England before it later split after John's death. Well, that's all for this week. For more information and regular updates on all of our stories, plus much more, visit our website at christian.org.uk. Until next time, goodbye.